Okay, today is Sunday, day 3 of the con for me, and I've met some interesting people today. I'm going to talk to the organizer of the academic session and also some guys who like to wear authentic medieval armor. Okay, I'm sitting here now with Matt Brown, who is the Comics and Popular Arts Conference coordinator, and he is an assistant professor at the University of Texas at Dallas. And he, this is his brainchild. Matt, could you tell the scholars out there, what sorts of papers we've been looking for and sort of how this has grown over time?
Yeah, well, thanks, Scott. I mean, the thing that we're looking for in this conference is scholarly engagements with the kind of media that DragonCon deals with. So, comics, anime and manga, science fiction, fantasy, whether that's television or literature, movies, and so on. From many disciplinary perspective or multidisciplinary perspectives, really an intellectual engagement with that kind of material. It's generally what we're looking for.
What kind of people will attend these sessions? I mean, who do you find there?
Yeah, there's a core of academics involved with the conference who come to each session, a handful, but most of the people are just con attendees. Now you do get a lot of people at the convention at DragonCon who have master's degrees in literature or are graduate students. You get a lot of academics at these panels, and they're really excited because they never imagined, in some sense, that there was this kind of level of scholarly engagement with the stuff they're fans of. But you also just get regular fans, and sometimes you have fans with incredible knowledge of the material that you're talking about. I mean, one of the things that really amazes me, for those of you who are scholars, you know that you may go to a conference and present your research, and nobody really knows the material as well as you do, or maybe there are only a few scholars in your audience who have actually read the material you're talking about. Here, if you come to the Buffy track and talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you get people who can quote, episode by episode, things related to what you're saying. I mean, they have amazing knowledge of the material. Even though they may not have any sort of academic credentials, may not be able to talk about, Derrida or existentialism or whatever in relation to the material, they really know the source material very well.
So one of the differences maybe between presenting here and presenting like at, say, the Popular Culture Association is the kind of people you're going to be meeting. Some of them are not going to be scholars, but on the other hand, they're going to be more familiar with the material that you're presenting.
Yeah, some of these fans, I mean, it's an encyclopedic, knowledge of the material. It's amazing.
Now, how can scholars get involved in this?
Well, every year we've run an open call for papers, and people just submit abstracts and get involved that way. We're going to be looking in the months after the convention in the late part of 2010 for people interested in helping organize, and they can join our mailing list. DragonCon Academics at Google Groups, or they can email me to get in touch with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Here you can see in one of the hotel lobbies, when you look down, there's the sheer number of people wandering around in costume. Various kinds of costumes, from science fiction, we have a lightsaber down here, there's steampunk, vampires, and of course, medieval costumes. Okay, I'm here now with a couple of gentlemen who are in medievalist garb, medievalist costuming. And guys, could you tell me a little bit about what you're wearing?
My name's John Sargent. This is my son Zachary. And what I'm wearing is sort of a simulacrum of a 12th century Crusader garb. And he's wearing a simulacrum of a typical medieval garb with the cowl and the surcoat, which is leather, which isn't authentic, but we wear for fair comfort and appearance. This surcoat is made by a company out of the UK, which markets imported materials called Get Dressed for Battle. The sword is a windlass steel crafts. It is it's actually a Type 14. For what I'm wearing it should be a Type 12, which would be Crusader Authentic, or a Type 11 or 10. But it's about 200 years later, but I just like the appearance of it. And they're actually located in Conyers, Georgia.
And how did you get into medieval clothing?
I'm just a history buff myself, and I just like things, all things medieval and Renaissance, and so I just got into that.
Okay. And so why don't you tell me how your dad talked you into this?
I've always been a fan of medieval times, and I've always been fascinated with swords and all the equipment and like armor and everything. And I grew up with him, and he just taught me how to do it.
Now, do you just wear it as sort of cosplay for decoration, or do you do some sword fighting with maybe a recreation group? Or
I do classes with my father who teaches, and he teaches them authentically Italian. He teaches Italian classes, and it's really good teaching and everything.
The classes are actually Fiore, which is a two-handed swordsmanship from the 14th and 15th centuries, early 15th centuries.
And what sort of people normally sign up for these classes?
It's all sorts. You have people that are into it for the aspects of actual historical accuracy, wanting to learn what was written down on the medieval manuscripts. You also have people that want to learn just for costuming purposes, like people maybe that want to know how a two-handed weapon handles, such as like a Jedi or something like that comes here, that, you know, they see the sword, they know where to get it, but they don't have no idea how it was historically used.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time, gentlemen, and for letting us see your wonderful costumes.
You guys cop? Yeah, tell us you're a cop. I'm not.